Unnecessary intro song to totally waste your time.
So now we're told that Tyler Robinson is the man who shot Charlie Kirk. Probably did, you know? The whole internet's flooded with people saying, he's a patsy, he's this, he's that, you know? The Jews, this, and I go, okay, I'm with you. I am, because we're not getting the whole story yet. Maybe they'll tell it, maybe they won't. But the fact that they haven't told us who he was chatting with in the Discord server and who did the dropped off the rifle. He talks about the drop zone. Well, if you have to go to the drop zone to get it, do you drop it off for yourself to come back later? Plausible, you could do that, you know? Or does somebody else drop it off for you? But if you're having a conversation with somebody about it, and you're talking about the drop zone, it's safe to infer that somebody else is in on it. Somebody else is dropping off the rifle, or at least knew about it. I want to know who that is. And isn't it interesting that they were talking on an app called Discord? What's the definition of that word, Discord? Seems pretty obvious that they have been honest about what their intent is as their app. To sow discord. Revolution. Discord is behind the revolution in Nepal. Despite what you want to think about it, doesn't matter. I don't care what your opinion is, whether it's good or bad. Gen Z taking over because they arranged it on Discord. Is this good? Is this bad? I don't know, but the app is called Discord. If you had an app called Murder, would you be interested in checking it out? If there was an app called Revolution, Bloody Revolution, it might be worth the rest of us going, what's going on here? Exactly how are you creating Discord? We have lots of chat apps. WhatsApp, oh, that's a cute name. Signal, oh, okay, got a Signal. You know? Telegram, I get it. Telephone call. But Discord? We're calling our app Discord. That to me tells me that somebody's got some algorithms going on and they're manipulating people. TikTok, what's TikTok? I don't know, a clock winding down? TikTok, is that something you say when your time's almost up? I'm not satisfied with, I saw somebody post, it's a one lone gunman. Come on, relax. Don't blame Israel. It's not a government conspiracy. It's like, yes, it is. By the way, even if it was, even if Matthew, or Tyler, Matthew's his dad's name, a sheriff apparently, but even if Tyler dropped off his own gun, bought it at Walmart himself, you know, and only hinted about what he was doing to Discord. They didn't know. He didn't tell anybody he's going to shoot him, but, you know, he used language like drop zone because he wanted to be cool, you know, and nobody knew. Even if that's true, I want to know who he was talking to. And I want to know, how did they meet? How did he meet his friend that's talking about the drop zone and all the slogans to put on the billboards? Are they friends from church? Does the kid live around the neighborhood? Or does he live in some far-off place? Who is he? Why is he talking to Tyler? But I don't want to stop there. I want to know how they met, how that discussion group formed, who else is in it, you know? What brought them together? What brought them to Discord? The app's not called Harmony. The app's not called Understanding. The app's not called Betterment. It's called Discord. And using it resulted in, just over the week, a bloody revolution in Nepal and a man getting his artery, his neck blown off in front of his wife and kids and all the people who loved him because he was a wonderful man. Is that enough discord for you? You know? Why are we allowing this? I've been saying this for a couple years now. I came up with a plan, in 2020, where I said it needs to be a legal, it needs to be required that algorithms are fully disclosed to the user. There's a reason why when you go and buy a can of peaches, it has the ingredients on the side. I can open my cupboard and find any can of something. What's this? It's a can of great value chicken breast. I can look at the ingredients, and it's important to look at the ingredients because I might be allergic to something. I want to know what I'm putting in my body. This is a rational thing. Full disclosure. What am I putting into my body? If there's a notion of public health or mental health or whatever you want to call it, health is the key word there. And you need to know what you're putting in to your mind. When you open up an app called Discord, of course they can say, well, it's called Discord. What'd you think? Maybe that is a full disclosure. Maybe that covers it. And people just say, oh, it's cute. They didn't mean it that way. Oh, really? Charlie Kirk's dead. Nepal's on fire. Discord. I want to know what that algorithm looks like. I want to know who designed it. I want to know why they designed it. Sir, why did you design an app to sow discord between people? Did you want them to revolt? Did you want them to fight with each other? Did you want them calling each other cis and trans, white, black? Is that what you mean by discord? To get everybody fighting? And how exactly, when you design this algorithm, what does it look like? You too, TikTok. Everybody come here. We're talking about algorithms. How is it? What videos did this kid watch? He didn't grow up in Washington, Utah, and just have this desire to kill Charlie Kirk spring out of his heart. No, he learned it somewhere. Somebody convinced him that white Christian males are evil. And him being a white Christian male, why wouldn't he go, how do I escape this label? I don't want to walk around being the demon of earth. I don't want to be the scourge. I don't want to be the evil white male. How can I get out of this? Can I become black now? Can I become trans? I could probably do that. I could tuck my dick. I could chop it off. I could chop off my dick. Then I wouldn't be a white male anymore. I'd be trans. And boy, according to TikTok and Discord, trans is the best way to be. Trans people are the most popular people. They're the people that everybody runs to defend. But maybe not now. Maybe 2 years ago. I missed my chance, to be trans. Too much pressure now. I could kill Charlie Kirk, though. Gets together with a couple of his other white friends that have been poisoned by these algorithms, poisoned by TikTok, poisoned by their teachers at school. Yeah, I want to know every one of his teachers, every single one of them. I want to know who poisoned this young man's mind. We have to know. We can't just say, lone gunman, lone gunman. There's no such thing as a lone gunman. I know I'm starting to sound like a leftist here, society or whatever. I'm saying, I want to know who did it. I want to know who put these ideas in his mind. Again, you just don't wake up one morning and think, all white people are evil. No, somebody has to tell you that. So when people say, why are you trying to blame Israel? Why are you trying to blame the government? Well, maybe because Israel and the government and all these other people, intellectualism and academia, maybe because they're the ones that are writing the books that are poisoning the minds of the children. Maybe they're the professors. Maybe they're the ones that are making the fucking algorithms and the curriculums and the movies and the next Netflix series. I want to know what he watched on Netflix. We can't allow this. We cannot allow this. We fucked up so bad when we said, sure, you can have my kid for 8 hours a day, every single day, 5 days a week or whatever. You can have them. Put whatever you want to in their mind. Sure, convince them they need to chop their dick off. Sure, talk to them about sex when they're 5. Get them thinking about their genitals when they're 5 and 6. Make sure you remind them that white males are bad. If that penis, if it's attached to a white male and it's not gay, it's coming off. You know? Got to make sure you teach them that. Who did that? Who did that? I got a list. I can tell you a bunch of names right now. You know? We can make a list. These are things we can find out. And it's time to stop. First of all, take your kid out of goddamn school now. Right now. These people are still doing it. You saw it. The people celebrating, it's insane how many of them there were. Child educators, teachers, professors. You know? People that are supposedly caring for human rights guys. You know? All these lofty positions that are taking care of your children that's who was cheering for Charlie Kirk being assassinated. We can't let this go on. We just can't do it. These people need to be rooted out. You know, listen, let me tell you something. Oh, but free speech, Merkley, but free speech. You can cheer. No, you can't. No, you can't. A threat is not protected speech. But they're not threatening. Oh, yes, they are. When somebody cheers a bullet and quarts of blood coming out of somebody because they said something, they are threatening you. They are saying, this is what should happen. We don't believe in free speech. And you cannot have a system where it's free speech to say, I'll kill you if you speak freely. That is not free speech. That is canceled. And when somebody comes out and says that, they need to be dealt with. And they need to be taken seriously because threats are threats. I got a threat yesterday. People know where you live, Merkley. Fuck around and find out. You know, from a guy that's been to my house. Also raised Mormon. Fuck around and find out. Because I was horrified by Charlie Kirk. That's what brought his comment. That me being horrified by his it was on a post where I said they chose Provo because they're literally targeting wholesome goodness. That's the target. That's why this guy, whether he did it by, he didn't do it by alone. I'm saying he didn't do it by himself. He didn't wake up one morning and think, all white people are bad. White Christians are bad. No, that came from TikTok. It came from Discord. It came from his teachers. Okay? It came from his algorithms. We have algorithms now, right now. Facebook is using an algorithm on you. So is YouTube. They're funneling you into silos. They can say, oh, it's just by mutual interest. And maybe it is. Maybe it is. But maybe that's not the way society is supposed to work. You know? Maybe when I have a radical idea that's totally far out there, and I'm walking through my town and nobody else has it, maybe I'm supposed to feel lonely because my idea is so far out there and destructive. Maybe it's not good that I can go online and find 10 other people who want to chop off their dicks and call themselves tigers. You know? Maybe that algorithm isn't so good after all. Maybe accountability still matters. We don't know who he was talking to on Discord. I want to fucking know. Because I bet you it's not his next door neighbor. It's not somebody that's accountable to his community. There is no way those kids in the Discord were accountable to each other, you know, or the other people around them, because they have this little private chat group, you know. And I don't have a problem with a private chat group. Go to church. That's a private chat group. Go into a room you know? But I'll tell you one thing, if I found out your private chat group is called Discord, Revolution, Overthrow the United States, Kill Whitey, I'm going to do something about it. And we should do something about it. We can't sit down and allow these evil monsters, and that's what they are, the people that are doing these algorithms, the TikToks algorithms, the Discord algorithms, whatever the other fucking apps that these kids use now, they're sowing discord. They're looking for revolution. They just had a huge success, oddly, this week. You know? In Nepal, a country was overthrown. Maybe that government deserved to be overthrown. You know? I don't know. But we should know what's happening. We should know who's behind it. Show me your fucking algorithm now. But privacy, but straights, no, now. You will publish your algorithm for everyone the same way the fucking chicken breast tuna guys have to put their ingredients on the can. Okay? And if there's poison in that algorithm, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Because we don't like poison. You know? You don't get to call something tasty treats that are fun to eat that have arsenic in them. We don't allow that. And we especially don't allow it when you're directing it at children with growing minds. We can't let them poison our children anymore. Charlie Kirk is dead because a kid with a poisoned mind, and these people that poisoned him, it's not, oops, I didn't know it would be that way. I didn't know. Fuck you, Discord. You knew exactly what you were doing. That wasn't a joke when you called your app Discord. That wasn't tongue-in-cheek. You know? Debate. That's if you want debate, great. Debate. Healthy exchange. You know? Idea generator. Talk it out. There's a million things you can call your app. You called your app Discord. Discord. So I want to know everything behind it. If we don't find out who these people are, if we don't get to who's behind it, if we don't hold the people accountable, you know, and I'm talking about authors of books. Yep, I am. You know, I don't know what to do with them. I'll tell you one thing. We have the First Amendment. The First Amendment guarantees free speech. So if there's anything, including speech, that comes out against free speech, that's the enemy of free speech, the thing that we're protecting. So if you see somebody going after free speech, no matter how many words they say, no matter how much comes out of their face, you want to call it speech, that's not free speech. That's the enemy of free speech. Just like the freedom of religion doesn't allow you, or shouldn't allow you, to set up a religion that is intent on getting rid of freedom of religion. That goes contrary to the purpose. Your silly loophole word game has been duly rejected. You don't get to do that. You don't get to have a religion to end all religions. You don't get to have free speech to end free speech. You don't get to call for the violent murder of someone speaking freely. You don't get to laugh and cheer and mock somebody when they are murdered, because that is a threat. That is a clear and present danger to everyone. You have signaled that you do not believe in free speech, that if somebody says the wrong thing, they will die. You are supporting that concept. That cannot be allowed. Enough with the loopholes, enough with the fine print. Enough with the wordplay. We got to do something. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit wound up, but it's all coming to a head. It's do or die, And if we don't, find the people who are responsible, and hold everybody accountable. Look, I'm saying, yeah, you can take these kids that are cheering. They're young kids. They're poisoned too. These kids that are cheering for the death, they're poisoned. They're poisoned. And you know what you do when your child's poisoned? You rush him to the fucking hospital. Or put him in bed. Get on Google. What's the antidote? What's the antidote? Please, flush help me get this poison out of their mind. And if that requires locking them down up and restraining them, then that's what you do. Because that's what a loving person does. You don't look the other way. They're poisoned. Somebody poisoned them. Step over them in the street. Typical liberal. It's freedom. Freedom. Fentanyl. Don't go after fentanyl producers. They're just serving a market. Fuck you, libertarians. Oh, man. I was a libertarian up until a couple days ago. I'm not a libertarian anymore. No, if that means that you're free to laugh and mock and threaten society with death for loving Jesus and promoting good values and telling kids, hey, don't chop off your dick. Don't do it. You're beautiful the way you are. God made you beautiful. I need freedom from religion. Don't give me your God shit. God made you beautiful. Whoa, that's it. I'm shooting you in the face for saying that. I don't want to hear that. Blam! You're dead. Cool. Yeah, oh, you too? You're threatening me too? Oh, you think that's cool? We got to deal with these people, and we can deal with them swiftly, fairly, with strength, but we can't just say, it's just one of the things that goes with living in a free society. No, it's not. No, it's not. We don't have to put up with threats. We don't need to put up with intimidation. We don't need to put up with secret poison algorithms. We don't. Okay? We don't. But Merkley, what about privacy? What about privacy? You can have your privacy. I'm not talking about privacy. You have no expectation of privacy in public. You don't. In your home, you do. In your church, you do. At your place of business, to an extent that, you have privacy from outside eyes that's not in your business. But guess what? The internet's not. That's not private. That's public. That's like when you step onto the internet, it's no different than stepping out of your front door. I know that sounds extreme. We can meet somewhere in the middle. But no, we can't have a system where children are in a room or on an app called Discord being watched and manipulated by Lord knows who. TikTok is babysitting your kids. YouTube is babysitting your children. So even if you take them out of school, you still got to watch what's going into their minds. Oh, but, children's minds adapt, They're more resilient than you think. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I buy that. They can take more. If they see one naked guy walking down the street, they're not going to be scarred forever. I get it. But if they're locked in a room with a guy with his dick out and he's flapping it on their foreheads, that's different. A little bit different. Feeding them poison. Kill your parents. Kill your parents. Kill Charlie Kirk. Kill Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is evil. Chop off your dick. Chop off your dick. We got a whole infrastructure right now, including the schools, the newspapers, the television, all the news outlets. Chop off your dick. Chop off your dick. The air is poison. Humans must die so the earth can live. We've got 12 years left. 12 years left. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. You human, you eater, you breather, you breeder, you're the problem. Chop off your dick. Slice off your tits. Chop off your dick. Slice off your tits. TikTok, chop off your dick. Slice off your tits. Instagram, chop off your dick. Slice off your tits. You know? Mutilate your body. Science for science. Science will change you. You're in the wrong body. Just sew a dick on. We'll make one out of your arm. Then you'll be a boy. It's evil. It's evil. Guys, okay? These kids aren't evil, you know? They are acting out evil. They are becoming vessels of evil, conduits of evil. The people that are making apps like Discord and TikTok and YouTube to extent are algorithms, just the algorithms, you know? Those people are the evil ones, you know? And we need to get them under control. I don't know how. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if it needs to be, I don't know what it looks like. It could be silent. These people could silently disappear, you know? Maybe you could just, a pressure campaign of just exposing them would be enough. It's been wonderful to see all the people, you know, that have been outed by their glee, getting fired over the last week. Finally, the right has figured out that you have to fight fire with fire. You have to fight the game being fought. Not the one you wish was there, not the fantasy game you wish was there. If you showed up to a basketball game and they're putting 10 guys on the court, you either got to get the fuck out of that game or put 11 guys on the court, because they've already said that they're not obeying the rules. So if they're not obeying the rules, you go, you got 10 guys on the court? We got 20. Now what? Oh, you got roller skates? Nah, we got flamethrowers. Fuck you. You don't want rules? We can play by not having rules. You want to ignore the rules? Guess what? We can ignore the rules. You got no respect for the rules? We can play that. Do you really want to play with no rules? Because I'm ready to not play or play by no rules. I'm ready for that. And I hope you're ready for it too. You cannot let a rule keep you from doing the moral thing. You cannot let a rule or a law allow them to take your child every day for 8 hours a day. But there's a rule that says I have to. That rule needs to be broken. There can be no rule that requires evil. You cannot obey a rule that requires you to be evil. Sorry, I'm getting a little out of hand here, I know. But this week shows you, you know, what's been going on. Irina getting stabbed in the neck, murdered. People celebrating that, not doing anything about it. That comes from desensitization, you know? Maybe it's a cultural thing. I don't know. Maybe black people just don't care about anything. Or maybe they hate white people so much because of these books and these poisons put into their mind. You got a lot of poison in your mind, too. So do I. We've all been poisoned. You know? You can spend a long time walking around in denial about it. Oh, not me. I'm not poisoned. I'm fine. Really? You're going to a cubicle every day. You're doing what you're told. You're shutting your mouth about things that are fucking obvious. You're denying reality. Well, I can't post about reality. I'm worried my employer would say, poisoned mind. Your mind is poisoned. I just try to keep to myself. You know, I don't. Yeah. Because the people with poisoned minds are threatening you. I just got the vax because your mind is poisoned. You let them poison your mind with fear. The air is poison. No, it's not. If you woke up and the air was poison, you'd feel an itch in your throat. You'd smell it. You know when you leave meat in the fridge too long? You leave it out on the counter, that smell, you can look at it. There's flies and maggots on it. You got the equipment to navigate reality. You don't have to consult a book or a TV show, a glowing screen, a scroll of text to tell you how to navigate reality. If the air is poison, you'll know. If you're on fire, you'll feel it. You're on fire, buddy. No, I'm not. Trust me, you are. Mind poisoning. I've about had it, I'll tell you. We got to win this fight. We're going to win this fight. We have to win this fight. Sorry. We can't let them destroy our children. And that's what they're hell-bent on doing. And that's what they're doing. And that's what they did to Tyler Robinson. And that's what they did to Charlie Kirk and his children. And that's what they did to his followers and his fans. Every one of those people has now been poisoned with that image of that bullet ripping through his neck and his blood gushing out. That's poison. That's the strongest of all poisons. And we cannot let that poison debilitate us and stop us from doing what needs to be done. That's all for now. Thanks for listening.
Unnecessary outro song to totally waste more